Today we will be talking about sequence and sequential order in telling a story. The main thing we want to be looking for during this lesson is being able to retell a story, something that's happened to your life, or just any story in general, and understanding order. Do you understand what order means?
Yes. Something comes first, and then last, and there's things in the middle.
Oh, perfect. That's awesome. A good example of a sequential order could be counting to 10, because you start with 1, you end up with 10 in this special circumstance. But also another good one to think about is the alphabet. So these are good examples for us to know things that come in the middle, the beginning, middle, and end. So what I have done, and if there were more students, we'd break out into groups and we'd try to figure out which comes first. The beginning, the end, the middle, these. So what I'd like you to do, Marissa, is place these in the correct order. Please. Oh, there you go. Good. So like you were saying before with a story, you start with your beginning, you start with your middle, or then you go to your middle, and then you have your end. And there are lots of important things that we can tell by sequential pattern, such as we can tell when it starts and where it ends, and then important facts in the middle. So something also that is important when it comes to sequential order are transition words. Do you know what a transition word is?
Then.
Good. There are lots of different sequential words or transitional words that we can use. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take each section, so the beginning, the middle, and the end section, and we're going to write some sequential or transition words on these pieces of paper so we have them in our head. I'm going to grab a pen. Okay. Oops. So, perfect. Here we go. So, our first one is beginning. So, Marissa, what do you think of, or what transition words can we put down here for beginning?
First.
First. Good. Here, you can practice writing the words.
And start.
Start, maybe to begin.
Okay.
These are good examples of beginning words. So you see Marissa wrote it down right here so we can have them in our minds while we're formulating stories. Okay, now we're going to move to the middle part of a story, but we want to focus on some transition words that come in between. Okay, so you said one before that was good. Then. Perfect.
Later. After.
Also. In addition to. Or in addition. Might be a little bit.
Furthermore. Very smart for my age.
You could also say like secondly, to show that it's like first, second. So you can kind of tell that it is a sequential pattern with the numbers. I think that would help. Perfect. So Marissa again wrote the letters, the transition words for our middle part of a story. Now we're going to move to the end of a story, and we're going to think of some more transition words for that. What do you think of?
Finally.
Finally, that's a good one.
In conclusion.
Lastly.
Lastly.
Or last.
Summarize. Or in summary.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So there they are here as well. So in a real classroom, it would be good to break these up and have students work together and think about instances in their lives that they've had or words that they're familiar with for the transition words. And a lot of them aren't going to be super advanced, but it's a good thing to get them to think about for sure. Okay, so why do you think, Marissa, it would be important to put these transition words in a story or in a circumstance?
To know when something's moving along and when it's going from the beginning to the middle, or from the middle to the end. It doesn't just go from one to the next without knowing.
Perfect. That's awesome. It's always helpful to know when something has a start and when something has an end. That's why it's really helpful when we think of the alphabet. We know when it starts, we know when it ends. But sometimes with stories, we don't know the starting point or the ending point without words that let us know how it flows. So perfect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to brainstorm different things we could reflect on or talk about with our partners. So we can talk about our weekends. Since we're just coming back from the weekend, we can talk about what we did last weekend using these words. So we can use our beginning words, our middle words, and our end words to talk about how our weekends went. And I will show first and talk about my weekend, and then you will have the opportunity as well. So, first, on the weekend, I went swimming. It was a glorious time where I got to swim about and practice. Meander in the pool, yes. It was very fun because I went swimming with my friends. And I like to swim with my friends. And now it's cold outside, so it's an inside pool, and we can't go outside, but it was very fun. Later, we watched a movie. It was a really nice movie, and it was really fun to hang out with my friends. Also, on Saturday, the day after, we went to the park and had a picnic, and I was able to eat with a lot of my friends, and that was also a really good time. And to finalize, in conclusion, we did homework on Sunday to start the week, to get ready for school on Monday. So using these three parts of a story, Marissa, will you recall and tell us part of your weekend?
First, I did my homework and watched a movie. Then the next day, I went to Yellowstone. After, I ate a cheeseburger. Finally, on Sunday, I went to church. Lastly, I talked on the phone with my mom and dad.
Perfect. You used those words in a great way. Way to transition.
Thank you.
Anyways, it is so important that we learn sequential order because it's important when we're recalling or retelling something to someone that we're getting the facts right, but also that we're telling it in the right order. It's always really important to use these words. And we can apply these words to anything else as well. If we watch a movie, and we're telling someone about what the movie's about, we can use these words. At the beginning of the movie, this happened. In the middle of the movie, this happened. And at the end, this happened. So it's a really good skill to know and apply into our lives. So for a challenge and homework assignment, I want you to look at that and tell your family a story using these transition words. Can you do that?
I can.
Perfect.